This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. I'm your host, Josh, and today's game will be pitting the Benchwarmer team of Dan and David versus Benchwarmer Eric and our special guest, former NFL football player, Paul Zukauskas. Welcome to the bench, Paul. Why don't you take a minute to let us know where you're from, what teams you root for, and anything else you'd like to share.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Paul Zukauskas. I grew up outside of Boston in Weymouth, Massachusetts, and played lots of sports growing up, and basketball to soccer to baseball. I love baseball for years, and then loved basketball for years. Kind of football. My other little anecdote I like to tell people is I was state record holder for swimming for multiple years and won New England championships for multiple years. So my friends will laugh at me for telling about my swimming prowess. I think our team name is going to be one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. I think that's what Eric. I like.
We don't know which, but one of us.
And I remember I raced. Anybody could beat me in a race, and I was like 310 pounds. I beat him in a sprint, and it wasn't close. I beat him easily. But yeah, I played football at Boston College, and then was drafted in the 7th round. That was a 201st pick in 2001. One pick after TJ. Oh my God, I'm going to screw up his name. Who's
your mama?
And so, drafted Butch Davis his first year in Cleveland. I was there for 4 years, 01, 02, 03, and 04. In 02, we actually made the playoffs, which is a big deal for the Cleveland Browns. My 5th year, I was with the 49ers. I was out, got hurt in camp, and was out that whole year, and then, never really got back in. The teams I follow, I definitely root for Boston College still. I root for Cleveland. I coached high school football for years, and I coached a player, A.J. Dillon, who plays for the Packers, so I'm close with him. So if you ask most of my family, we're all Packers fans now, so we have all the Packers gear. Sorry.
All right. This relationship is over.
I already hear the moaning. I do follow. I grew up a Patriots fan. I don't know how my New England – I'll keep it short. I know we got to get to the trivia, but I love Bill Belichick. I love Tom Brady. And so I've loved the Patriots for years. I'll watch New England because I love Belichick. Basketball, I'm a big Celtics fan. Love the Celtics. Love the Bruins, Red Sox. Although I say that, I don't think I've watched a Red Sox game in years. My passion for baseball. I'm an entrepreneur now. I don't have the time or the patience for baseball, kids. But yeah, that's a little bit about my sports background there.
Well, wonderful. Eric, we've heard your team name that one of you played with Tim Hasselbeck, and I'm not quite
It was a good year for me.
Is he in your pickup basketball league?
He might be. There's a lot of short guys there.
Well, just let us know how you're doing, Eric, because we already know your team name. So
I was asked to play hockey Wednesday, and I had to decline. So unfortunately, my retirement is still on. But my wife, I have to say this, I'm obligated through marriage. She's a nurse at a local hospital here, and the Bills invited a bunch of nurses from that hospital. She was one of them to a Crucial Catch event. So she just got back maybe an hour ago, and she gave me a Bills hat with some autographs on it. So I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
Raffle.
Yep. So it was signed by their rookie cornerback. Was it Elam, Dawson Knox, Mitch Morse.
Jason Elam?
Yeah, Jason Elam. He's back.
Wow.
He's back. But so I do thank her for that. I mean, the only way I'll ever have anything Bills related on my shelf there. But yeah. But as Paul said, one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. So that'll be our team name today. I was going to go with my favorite. Sorry, Paul. My favorite Boston College alum, Mike Cloud, which I know you played with him as well. I was a huge Mike Cloud fan coming out of college, but yeah,
he's a great player. Yeah.
Super Bowl champion, Mike Cloud.
Super Bowl champion. And then did he win? He was a finalist for the Doak Walker '98. I don't think he won it.
I don't think so either. I know he was second round pick by the Chiefs, I believe.
Yes, second round of the Chiefs. Yep.
So yeah, Josh, that's us for today.
All right.
I get to sit back and let Paul answer all these questions. I was told that he's a stud in the trivia world. So let's go.
He might need your help on a couple of questions, but maybe only a couple.
Okay, good.
David, Dan, let us know how you guys are doing and let us know what your team name is going to be.
I have very little going on today. Not really doing much at all. I'm just like a simple farm boy.
Hey,
you don't get to talk.
well, I just got. Oh, good point. Never mind. All right, keep going.
Yeah, I really don't have anything to say, and it's been a day. It's been a fine day, just fine.
All right, wonderful.
And wait for it. David has our team name, so we're gonna let him go.
Bingo. There it is.
I thought we were just gonna let it. I thought we were gonna maybe get by without that, but
yeah,
never.
No, I do have it. Yeah, so I'm doing well, and I'll skip right to the team name. Dan and I don't get to team up that often, so we always have this flood of team name ideas. But tonight we decided, since we both have the initials DL, David Lux, Dan Lundberg, our team name is going to be the 15-day DL, even though the disabled list is no longer a thing.
Yeah, that's insensitive. So I will not be referring to you as that.
You want to just call it the injured list for short?
It just says DL.
Everybody knows what the DL is. I'll refer to you as the 15-day IL if you want.
Oh man,
no, I'm kidding. I'll call you the DL.
We could go historic here. All right, yeah, we're the 15-day DL.
All right,
that was all David's fault.
Everything is always David's fault. So
that is true. That is very true.
Just ask his wife,
who loves Josh accent.
So we have the 15-day DL versus one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. Now let's kick it over to not too recently past Dan for new rules.
The game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
Today's first quarter will be sporting haikus.
Sporting haikus. For this quarter, there will be 4 questions in haiku form. Each question is worth 25 points.
All right, so question 1 in sporting haikus. BC champion joined Columbus in July. Lady Bing winner.
We can check in.
Yeah.
All right, one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck is checked in, so 15-day DL. You guys can talk it out.
I don't know how much to even talk out here.
Does that mean you know it?
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to pull this. I mean, I don't keep track of where NHL players went to college. It doesn't even necessarily mean he's American, although I guess he probably is American.
No, only Minnesota has all Americans. Everybody else is.
They get some guys from Scandinavia. Yeah, sure. But a lot of
that's not true anymore. The Doug Woog days are long gone.
I'm trying to think of. So I assume that he joined Columbus as a free agent. I'm trying to think of anybody I know of that's
who's won the Lady Bing.
Yeah,
I mean, Nathan McKinnon did, but I'm pretty sure he's still with the Avs.
A guy from the Hurricanes won a couple years ago, but I'm pretty sure he was European. But Eric's probably laughing to himself about this. I honestly, I don't have anything. I'm not gonna be able to pull this.
Yeah, unless it's no, I'm not gonna be able to pull it.
All right, we're checking.
Great way to start.
I know you got a good joke answer for us.
I mean, we may as well say Nathan McKinnon because I know he won it, but
yeah, it's not. He's still with Colorado. So
yeah, I know.
All right. Yeah, we got nothing. Josh will check in with nothing, or with Nathan McKinnon, I guess.
Okay, that works. And one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What'd you guys have for an answer?
He went to Boston College. He was actually, I think he took the contract in Columbus, and it's not as much as he was offered at other places, but he was one of the biggest free agents this year. And it's one Johnny Gaudreau.
One team will be receiving points. The correct answer is Johnny Gaudreau. Gaudreau won his NCAA championship in 2012, the Hobie Baker Award in 2014, and the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy in 2017. Yeah, it was one of the bigger signings in this last free agency period. So I thought maybe the old guys would have a shot at it, but ouch.
Josh?
Yes, sir.
Whom?
You don't what? You don't know who Johnny Hockey is? That's come on.
I haven't been paying attention the last.
Okay.
Right.
What,
like
30 years?
So no, like 4 or 5 years.
He is a legend at BC. I knew his first name. I couldn't think, but I definitely knew the first name. I generally in the ballpark, but he is a legend at BC.
Well, apparently his last name is Hockey. We've just learned it.
Yes,
Anyway.
yeah, correct.
All right. That's actually his middle name.
Oh, got it.
Question 2 in Sporting Haikus. BC alumnus, most NBA points, assists, PG for 4 teams. And just for those of you playing at home, specifically, this is most points and assists by somebody from BC.
We're going to check in.
Okay, one of us has played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in. 15-day DL. You guys can talk it out.
I'm trying to think of guys that I know went to BC. Dana Barros was around for a long time. Who's the other name I just sent you?
Michael Adams.
Michael Adams. How many teams has Reggie Jackson played for? He hasn't been around long. Well,
He's also a baseball player, but
it's true.
almost positive that Troy Bell had the most.
Wait, the most what?
Points.
In the NBA for a Boston College player?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, that's
I,
right. Yes.
I was thinking
Yes.
Boston College.
No.
Okay.
No.
I got it.
You might be
Okay.
right about
I
Troy
hear
Bell, but we're looking for who from Boston College scored the most in the NBA.
I got to think it's got to be Dana Barros then. I'm with you now. Yes.
Yeah, and I think the problem with Reggie Jackson has played for a long time, but I can only picture him on the Thunder, the Pistons, and the Clippers, and he's more of a combo guard anyway. So maybe Dana Barros?
Yeah, I mean, he played for the Sonics, Celtics.
Yes, for sure.
The Sixers.
Right. And I think maybe the Pistons.
Yeah, that's 4 teams. I think that's got to be it.
Okay. All right. We'll check in with Dana Barros.
Okay, and one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What'd you guys have for an answer?
Paul, you can give this one.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Dana Barros. Close, but
after we checked in, I'm starting to think it's not right. But yeah, I think it's somebody else. But yeah.
So you guys also checked in with Dana Barros?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no team will be receiving points. The correct answer was
Michael
mentioned.
Adams.
It is Michael Adams. Adams had a record 79 consecutive games with a 3-point field goal from January 28th, 1988 to January 23rd, 1989. The record is now held by Stephen Curry with 157 consecutive games.
Whom?
He's a shooting guard.
Oh, all right, cool. I heard of Del Curry. Is he related?
No, you're thinking Seth Curry.
Oh yeah, the best curry there is. That and
Chicken
curry.
Yeah. I was going to say
chicken curry.
The old Raiders. Actually, the Raiders.
Aaron Curry
running. No.
It's the Seahawks legend.
It was their wide receiver core. Brown, Rice, and Curry.
Oh.
Let's try question 3. 2021 NCAA Women's Champ. Name the BC sport.
Check it in.
One of us played for Tim. One of us played with, not for.
For
Tim Hasselbeck. Has checked in. 15-day DL. Once again, you guys get to talk it out.
That team name is offensive.
So Dan, I think I have this one.
Okay.
Because I pay some attention to this sport I pay some attention to BC now more than I used to because, of course, they're in the ACC, and they have been really good at lacrosse, women's lacrosse. I'm pretty sure the answer is BC.
No, the
I'm
answer.
sorry. I'm pretty sure the answer is lacrosse. Sorry, that was brilliant. I'm pretty sure the answer is lacrosse. Sorry,
Man. Last time he has Reggie Jackson. Wrong sport. Now he's now he's trying to name the college that you already named in.
Well, David, I think for some reason I have BC on the brain. I can't imagine why with all these questions. All right,
David, you have an easement one time now. You can use the Mind Palace.
I don't need it. It's lacrosse. It's women's lacrosse.
Are you sure?
I am.
Are you 100%?
Well, I'm not 100. Paul was 100%.
Right. That's why I'm asking.
I'm 98%.
That's not a lot.
Ooh, leaving 2% on the table.
It's women. It's lacrosse. It is lacrosse.
All right. I'll trust you.
It's lacrosse. We're checking in.
And one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What'd you guys have for an answer?
It was a women's question, so I defer to Paul.
Lacrosse as well. They lost to UNC this last year.
Well, both teams will be getting points because the correct answer is BC. I mean, lacrosse.
Damn it.
Outside of the 5 NCAA championships in men's hockey, this is the only other NCAA team championship won by Boston College. And when I say that, it's NCAA sanctioned. So you don't need to get on me about them claiming one of the championships in 1940 for college football.
Right.
Because football isn't a NCAA sanctioned championship.
Can we adopt that where we can just start claiming things?
I've always have
man,
been.
we could all be champions then.
I would say I'm defending Stanley Cup champion.
All right. Last question. Question 4 in Sporting Haiku. Paul, you better get this one.
Oh, boy.
BC HOF Browns 02 first round RB inducted with Paul.
Check it in. Yeah.
All right. Not a surprise pretty quickly. One of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in. So 15-day DL, you guys can talk it out.
Well, I did very little research before this game, but just in case I looked for BC players who ended up on the Browns, and I'm pretty sure it's William Green. Is that right? Does that sound right?
That makes sense.
Okay. I don't know what the inducted with Paul. Oh, it must be the BC Sports Hall of Fame or something. But anyway, we don't. I guess
I have an idea. Let's check in with that, and then Paul will tell us.
That sounds like a great idea.
So we're checking in with BC. Is that right? Okay, we'll check in with William Green.
All right, and one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What did you guys have for an answer?
We had William Green as well. So yeah, I was inducted in the Hall of Fame with him in. Now I gotta remember. Was it 2016?
Yes, it was.
But yeah, he was. It was great. So I was drafted the year before, and it was leading. He might have been the 21st. Was it the 21st or 22nd overall pick? But leading up to the draft, there's a lot of questions from like the coaching staff and the scouting staff all around William Green. I was getting a lot of questions, so I had a good feeling that they were going to pick him in the first round. He had a monster year. He came out early his junior year out of BC. The great year, his last year at BC. So he started playing right away. One of my favorite, on WePlayed, so my company, we automate highlights, create all these highlights for colleges and conferences. And I initially built like the beta product around old BC coaching film and old BC film. I had trying to index the whole library. So you could just search a name, search a particular run and find all those types of plays. And one of my favorite moments at BC that I have on video is a William Green run against Notre Dame, where he trucked some some safety from Notre Dame, which I'm not a big Notre Dame fan. So,
or should you be?
He's a really tough runner from New Jersey, South New Jersey.
So, both
Great,
teams will be getting points. The correct answer is William Green. He was actually drafted 16th overall.
16th. Oh man.
And he is from he was born in Atlantic City. I don't know if that's also where he just,
Yeah,
stayed.
that's where I think he grew up in that area.
Yeah. So I simply wanted to ask this question to point out that we have a Hall of Famer on the podcast today.
Thank you.
The one who didn't play with Tim Hasselbeck, but did play with William Green.
Oh, right.
Eric's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. He just claimed the Stanley Cup like 5 minutes ago.
I've not been beaten since.
I'm claiming Hall of Fame status.
See?
Why not?
So, no, I don't want to cheapen Hall of Famers because we actually
was this the NBA?
Well, if it was, we would all be in if we were in the NBA.
And Tim Hasselbeck was inducted last year in the BC Hall of Fame, and I went to that. Went to that ceremony as well.
Nice. That's cool.
All right. So after the first quarter, we have the following scores. We have 15-day DL with a score of 50, and one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has 75.
We wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
Really hoping to get inducted next year to the BC Hall of Fame, but
British Columbia?
Yeah. Well, I am half Canadian, so I mean, it's an option.
I think I'm going to start the Benchwarmers Hall of Fame, Eric. Maybe you could be in the.
I don't want
first
that.
class. You don't want that. Got to think bigger. Think bigger.
I'm a Stanley Cup champion. I'm not going to be some
podcast
Hall of Fame.
Well, today's second quarter will be pre and post game.
Pre and post game. For this quarter, there will be 4 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, the answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 25 points.
All right, question 1 in pre and post game. What 2000 first-round defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings is also a third-year NFL wide receiver who became a Super Bowl champion last season?
We're going to check it.
All right. One of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in. 15-day DL. Once again, you get to talk it out.
All right, Dan. So I'm trusting you're going to pull the Vikings.
It's Chris Hovan.
Oh, so Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we will check in just like that with Chris Hovan Jefferson.
Okay. And one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What did you guys have for an answer?
Sorry, I kind of checked him before you could even think about it. It's Chris Hovan Jefferson.
And both teams will be receiving points. The correct answer is Chris Hovan Jefferson. Chris was named to his only All-Pro team in 2002. And Jefferson is the son of NFL coach and former wide receiver Sean Jefferson.
Paul, anything 2000 NFL draft I was obsessed that year. It's a thing. I have a problem.
I do need to know, though, because Chris Hovan is one of my favorite Vikings of all time. Is he nearly as crazy as he seemed to have been?
Yeah, he's pretty crazy.
Okay.
I played with him for 3 years at BC. That's who I went against every day. Yeah.
I was wondering. Probably.
Oh, yeah. It was great. They moved him around a lot, too, at BC. So he played like defensive end and he went against Eric, first round pick for he was played for West Virginia tackle in like 99.
Was he drafted in 2000?
I think he was drafted in 99.
Oh, geez.
Chris had like a breakout, one of his against this really well-known offensive tackle from West Virginia. Yeah, he was a nut. He was an intense player.
I'm gonna space on this one. Sorry.
If it is 99.
Yeah.
Solomon Page.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, let's move on to question 2 in pre and post game. What place kicker who holds the franchise record for most field goals made for the team he played with for the first 14 of his 20 seasons in the league is also a tight end who caught 25% of the touchdowns thrown by his borderline elite quarterback in 2021?
We're going to check in.
Whoa! Woo! 15 to ADL has checked in. So one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. You guys actually get to talk one out for a change.
I mean, we had the answer like 8 minutes ago. So
I know you did.
But yeah, he's one of the guys my wife met tonight. So, and she's got an awkward picture of him signing the hat, just standing there. I'm like, nice, cool. Paul, you can give the answer because I think you played with one of them. So.
I did. Yeah, Phil Dawson Knox. So.
Okay, wonderful. And 15 to ADL, what did you guys have?
All right, so I was going back to front on that, like we were all intended to, and for some reason, I typed out to David Len Dawson. No, that's not right. But yeah,
and I was thinking, did Len Dawson George Blanda this when I wasn't paying attention? because I guess it's possible, but I didn't remember that. So yeah.
And then David filled in exactly who I was thinking of, but just for some reason wrote the wrong name. But yes, we had Phil Dawson Knox.
Both teams will be getting points. Correct answer is Phil Dawson Knox. Phil had a rule named after him prior to the 2008 season that allows field goal and extra point attempts that hit the uprights or the crossbar to be reviewed. And Knox was second in receiving touchdowns for the Bills in 2021, only one less than Stephon Diggs.
What are they reviewing them for?
So he had a kick in 2007 that went through the uprights, hit the back stanchion part, and came back over. And they huddled together to confer on it, and they didn't say upon review, but they used some other phrase because they knew they couldn't review it.
Interesting.
So now they made it official that any ball that hits basically any part of the field goal apparatus, they can review.
I was a part of a game in 2001, the bottle throwing game in Cleveland. So we were playing, I believe it was the Jaguars. We were driving. We caught a first down. It's like a slant first down. We ran 2-minute drill, end of the game, fourth quarter. We run up to the line of scrimmage, spiked the ball, and then they reviewed the previous play, and it wasn't a catch. It was a slant kind of fumble, like he didn't have complete. And so that was a rule that's definitely the whistle blew, like spiked it, whistle blown, and then they reviewed the previous play, wasn't a catch. No, excuse me, it was fourth down. We get it, go up, spike the ball, and then so a turnover to the Jaguars, I believe.
Oh, so they went 2 plays back, and because it was incomplete on fourth down, you turned over on downs.
Yes, and then that was after we had spiked the ball on first down.
Oh, interesting. To
stop the clock.
Because they make such a big deal now when the team like doesn't want the review to happen, so they run up and spike the ball for exactly that reason.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking too.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I think that was like definitely made official. You couldn't review the previous play.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they started raining down beer bottles. And we all both teams had to run off the field
in Cleveland.
Yeah,
hey,
and then we were
in the
locker room for like a half hour, and then people half dressed got back out on the field, and they just took it. I think it was the Jaguars just ended up taking the knee on 4 downs.
So Dan, Cleveland wouldn't be the first fan base that I would think of about throwing beer bottles onto the field.
Right.
I mean, that's Philadelphia, right?
Yeah,
they throw more than bottles.
There was the incident when somebody was throwing batteries. Was the Philadelphia thing?
That was yeah.
Didn't they throw snowballs at Santa Claus?
At Santa.
Yeah,
that's Philly. Yeah.
Yes.
Then they cheer neck injury, like a Michael Irvin neck injury.
Eric, you're teaming with someone who played for the Browns.
I love the Browns. All right.
I do too, but
I will die on this hill forever, and everybody hates me for it. I think the Browns have the greatest helmet in football, and I will always say that.
You're right on that. Absolutely.
It's a good helmet.
Great uniforms.
Except for the ones that they had. Didn't they have a red, white, and blue thing going down the middle once?
That was the
Recently?
Cowboys.
Oh, that's right. No, you're right.
Cowboys
It
did
was the
that.
Cowboys. I had, yeah. Oh,
All
I
right.
was going to say that would clash terribly with the Brown, but yeah.
well, it would, but
I
Let's,
just,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, just my quick helmet. I just learned this, and Bill Belichick just learned this. Why the Steelers only have the logo on one side of their helmet? They couldn't afford 2 stickers. So, and Art Rooney, he didn't want to put out the expenditure for the 2 stickers, and so this had one, and then they kept it as a tradition.
Okay, that's awesome. Because obviously, no NFL teams would struggle with being able to put stickers on everywhere at this point.
No.
One of these years is you're just like, you know what, we can afford it now. We're going to put that other sticker on.
Or you're going to see them
No.
put, or you're going to see them
Pittsburgh
you're going to see them put a sticker for some company on the other side. They're going to sell the
geez.
space.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why
now
not?
you just put it out there. It's going to happen, Dave.
we have a whole half of a helmet that we can put something on.
That's right.
After the game last week, they're going to need to do something with that.
General Electric on the Celtics uniform, the GE logo.
All right. Let's move on to question 3 in pre and post game. What center who anchored the New England offensive line during their first Super Bowl win is also the winningest head coach in Ohio State football history?
Wait, is this the Ohio State?
What did I say? Did I say that?
That's
No.
that's why I had to figure it out.
It says in Ohio State football history.
Yeah, I see. I
The
just want to make sure
Bobcats?
we're thinking of the same place.
So the Bobcats.
Yeah, the Bobcats.
Okay.
Right.
DJ Cooper's.
We can check in.
15-day DL is checked in, so one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. You guys can talk it out.
Damian Woody Hayes.
Okay. And 15-day DL, what did you guys have for an answer?
Same thing. Damian Woody Hayes.
Both teams will be getting their points. The correct answer is Damian Woody Hayes. Damian won a second Super Bowl 2 years later, but did not play against, was that the Panthers, due to a knee injury. Hayes won 205 games during his 28 years as head coach of the Buckeyes. However, he is only 6th in winning percentage with a .761 winning percentage behind Urban Meyer, FTG, Ryan Day, Carol Widows, coached in 1944 and 45, Jim Tressel, and John Ekstrom, who coached in 1899 to 1901.
Remember him, David?
I had drinks with him.
I have two quick anecdotes. One, so 2 years later in 2003, the Patriots had center Dan Copen, who I played with. So I played with both Woody and Copen. And then I coached with Ryan Day. I was a graduate assistant at BC. I was on the defense, but he was there for 2 years when I was there. He was a wide receivers coach, really good quarterback at UNH for the same years, like high school. And then we were at high school camps together, and he played at UNH, and then was a graduate assistant at BC when I was, I think, playing the NFL. Graduate assistant for Urban Meyer at University of Florida, then was up at BC as a receivers coach. So I got to know Ryan pretty well.
Was Dan Copen the one that scooped up the ball on the squib kick and ran it 70 yards back? And no. It was Dan somebody else that was an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Help me, Eric. They squibbed the ball. Dan Connolly, I think it was.
Connolly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking it was Copen for a second. Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to question 4, the last question in pre and post game. What wide receiver who led the Browns in receiving yards for the 2003 and 2004 seasons was also the 1998 Atlantic 10 Men's Basketball Player of the Year? I know, David, you're probably also sad that with all this Brown talk, it's not about your university.
It is not. Yes.
It's about the pro football team.
03 and 04.
We're going to check in.
Hey, 15-day DL is checked in, so one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. You guys can talk it out.
Pretty sure it's Dennis Northcutt.
That seems right. And it is right, because Kevin Johnson was like the start, kind of our bigger, he was gone.
It works with Gatino Mobley. I think he went to Rhode Island. I don't know. Is that an A-10 school?
At the time.
Yeah. So
But it still may be. Yeah.
yeah.
I think this is it. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll check in with Dennis North Catino Mobley.
Okay, and 15-day DL, what did you guys have for an answer?
Yeah, I had Katino Mobley because Josh just mentioned my alma mater, and then I was thinking whether that was a small hint because Mobley went to Rhode Island, which was and I think still is Atlantic 10.
I think, yeah.
And then Dan helped me piece together the front half, so we came up with Dennis North-Catino Mobley.
Both teams will be getting points. The correct answer is, in fact, Dennis North-Catino Mobley. Dennis was the co-leader for punt returns for touchdowns in 2002 with 2, tied with Dante Hall, Santana Moss, and Steve Smith Sr. And Mobley announced his retirement from the NBA due to hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, the same heart illness suffered by Reggie Lewis, who died in 1993, and Hank Gathers, who died in 1990. However, he is playing in the Big Three, is he not?
I believe he is.
But I think there's a lot less, probably. I haven't actually watched the Big Three, but I'm guessing they're not running full courts and things like that, right? It's just one bucket, I'm assuming. Or is it a shortened? I have no idea. Where's Scott when you need him? Anyway, after the second quarter, we have the following scores. 15 to ADL is up to 150. And one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has 175. And that brings us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 25 points.
Today's halftime will be a flop, turn, and river edition. I will give you names of characters in a sports movie. You will try to name the movie. You'll receive 25 points after the first 3 clues, 15 after the 4th, and 10 after the 5th. Question 1, your first 3 characters are Arthur Goslin, Jim Bowers, and Mac McNally.
I think you're right.
I think I am too. We can check in.
Okay, 15 to ADL is checked in. So one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. You guys can talk it out. And if you would like the next clue, please let me know shortly.
They both sound familiar. Those 2 names sound familiar too.
Yeah, the Bowers. Oh God, that's gonna kill me.
Bowers is what gets me too, more than I know a Mac in a sports movie, but I think the last name was Mac.
The Goslin one doesn't help.
No,
Bowers.
Arthur Goslin doesn't sound like an athlete name, or
No, not at all. Oh, who's that guy? He was he had a TV show. That guy, you know what I'm talking about.
That one guy.
He had a TV show in the
show.
the 90s.
Arsenio Hall.
He was in was he in Weekend at Bernie's? I think he was in Weekend at Bernie's. That's the dude. What the hell movie was that? Little Big League. Silverman. He was the pitcher. Her uncle. I don't know. Are they related? I don't know. Jonathan Silverman. He was on that one show.
yeah.
I think he was in Little Big League, and he was the Bowers guy. McNally, I can't put a face on it, but I'm pretty sure it's Little Big League because Jonathan Silverman was in Little Big
I remember seeing the movie. I do not know.
I say we go for it. They're
great.
checked in. We got to go for it.
All right.
We're gonna go with Little Big League.
Okay, and 15 to ADL, what did you guys have for an answer?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's Little Big League. That is Bowers is Jonathan Silverman, and Mac was the other one that gave it away because it's that guy. I'm blanking on his name, but he was in the Beverly Hills Cop movies.
John Ashton.
Yeah, and he was also in Midnight Run,
died.
which was a great movie. I think
That's right.
that could
Didn't
be
he
right.
die? Yeah, I might be wrong.
I don't think so.
All right, never mind. I'm wrong. He's alive. John, hi.
If you're listening. Yeah, so Little Big League.
He's not anymore.
All right, well,
Thought
let me
he
give you the 4th and 5th clues, and we will see if you guys are correct. Clue number 4, Lou Collins, and clue number 5, Billy Haywood.
There it is.
Both teams will be getting their 25 points. The correct answer is Little Big League.
Job, Art.
So Kevin Elster was an active MLB player when the film was shot, while 2 of his fictional Twins teammates were played by former MLB players Leon Durham and Brad Leslie.
So the Twins could have used Leon Durham.
Yeah,
Get that out there.
they could have used the bull.
The bull. And Lou Collins was Timothy Busfield, right?
So, Yes.
Yes.
So Arthur Goslin was the GM. Jim Bowers was a relief pitcher. Mac
Yeah.
McNally was the pitching coach. Lou Collins was the third baseman and love interest of Billy's mother.
Yep.
And Billy Haywood, who inherited the team, was the manager. All right, let's move on to question 2 in halftime. Clue number 1, Marge Sweetwater. Clue number 2, Chaz Osborne. And clue number 3, Coach Turnbull.
This is a sports movie also?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, just you know that not all movies are 100% about sports, right? So it's like,
oh, so this is what's that figure skating movie you talk about all the time?
maybe.
We can check in.
15-day DL is checked in. One of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. You guys can talk it out.
Chaz. So Chaz sounds like, saying the antagonist. He's like the bad guy antagonist, maybe.
Gotta be. Coach Turnbull is the what's killing me. It's an 80s movie. It has to be an 80s movie with somebody named Chaz in it. That's how it works. Marge Sweetwater. Yeah, let's take one more then.
All right. Clue number 4, Dr. Diane Turner.
There it is. It's Back to School.
Yes.
I was a big Rodney Dangerfield fan.
Oh.
I'm mad that I didn't realize this. All right.
I love that movie.
Yes, we're gonna check in with Back to School.
Okay, and 15-day DL, what did you guys have for an answer?
Gosh. So David ran into the Mind Palace, and then he was running out as I was running in because something had hit me too. I've been looking at coaches like movie coaches, and I know that name. And I finally figured it out. It was M. Emmett Walsh from Back to School. And then I realized that all around great guy William Zabka was Chaz. So it's Back to School.
Well, let's check out the 5th clue just to see if you guys are both correct. Do you guys want to take a guess on who the 5th clue is?
Thornton Mellon.
Yeah,
Thornton Mellon. That is correct.
Right.
So, yes, both teams will be getting points. 15-day DL will get 25, and one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. It's 15. The correct answer is Back to School. And probably my favorite author of all time, Kurt Vonnegut, had a cameo in the movie.
Oh, that's right. I remember
He
that.
played Chaz.
He had a cameo. He played himself.
Oh.
You already covered that Chaz was played by William Zabka.
We were
Yes.
dead on with that, Paul. He was the prototypical 80s douchebag.
He got to play them all.
I remember.
He still plays him.
Except he's less of a douchebag.
Oh, you're talking about in Cobra Kai? That's great. And he's not really, he's kind of a douchebag, but he's like
Yeah,
a
he
lovable.
is.
Kind of.
He's a lovable douchebag now.
He
It's
is
a totally
lovable.
different thing. Right.
And Daniel-san is kind of a douchebag.
Yes.
Oh, they flipped it.
Yes.
I haven't watched a second of that yet.
Oh,
so.
it's
great.
It's
It
good.
really is good.
It's good.
Is
It's a
it?
great show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would endorse it. I
I do too. Yeah.
all right.
It jumps the shark every episode,
Oh,
but
yeah. sure.
Right. That's what makes.
But
it
you
so
expect it from.
Yes.
I will say, there's no way the actress that plays Daniel's daughter would be good at karate.
good. One,
Elizabeth
not-
Shue.
Not even. Not
drives
there's
my-
no way.
my
Wait
drives
a
my
minute.
wife crazy how bad she how unathletic and
Yes.
how she looks. And,
Yeah,
and Danny LaRusso looks terrible too. Like
yeah, I was
he-
about to say, it's funny that his daughter bothers you, and somehow it doesn't bother you that he's good at karate. I mean, look
no,
at
that,
that
and
guy.
he's like this is the way he kind of walks on his toes.
Yeah, he
I don't
does.
know.
He does. He always has. If you
Yeah.
go
Is it
back
Toe
when he was,
Walker?
when he was a teenager, he was
Oh.
absolutely a toe walker.
So
Absolutely.
walk- yeah, absolutely.
Yep, no question.
I see those people in the mall and I just want to trip them. I don't. I feel bad. Sorry.
What's a mall?
We have one still.
Oh, I've got a number of them near me. I just don't ever go to any of them for any reason.
Josh doesn't go around people. What are you talking about?
Jesus, I hate people. All right, let's go to question 3, the last one in halftime. Clue number 1, Jamie Blake. Clue number 2, Morris Fenderbaum. And clue number 3, Seymour Goldfarb Jr.
We'll take another clue.
Yeah, we're gonna check in.
All right. Okay, so one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in, and 15 DL, you are going to get another clue. Clue number 4, Sheikh Abdul Ben Falafel.
Oh, I know what this is. Oh, for God's sake. And it just hit me as he was reading it. Morris Fenderbaum with Sammy Davis Jr. This is Cannonball Run. Absolutely. Yeah. And the Sheik, I think Roger Moore may have been Seymour Goldfarb.
Yeah, he's the one that thought he was Roger Moore.
Right. And the Sheik is Klinger.
Jamie Farr.
Jamie Farr. Yeah. It's Cannonball Run, 100%.
Right.
We'll check in. Damn it.
Okay. And one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What did you guys have for an answer?
I don't know why it took me an hour and a half to. I'm just like Burt Reynolds car movie. I can't think of the name. I couldn't. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We checked in with Boogie Nights.
We checked in with
Smokey and the Bandit.
What's that other movie? Herbie Fully Loaded. Cannonball Run.
So the 5th clue is Victor Prinzim, aka Captain Chaos.
That was Dom DeLuise.
Both teams will be getting their points. The correct answer is Cannonball Run. And you successfully, David, named all of and with Dan's help on Jamie Farr. Jamie Blake was Dean Martin. So it's because Jamie Blake and Morris Fenderbaum shared a car. So it was Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. So and you got the rest of it right on. NFL Hall of Famer Terry Bradshaw and country singer Mel Tillis were a couple of good old boys driving a 1976 Chevrolet Chevelle Laguna NASCAR Hawaiian Tropic replica.
There was some other, no, not Gastineau, the other guy on the Jets defensive lineman, Joe Klecko. Wasn't Joe Klecko in that? In Cannonball
No,
Run?
but if Mark Gastineau was in it, I want to see it.
I played against Klecko's son
That makes sense.
at Temple and when he was in New England.
Okay.
I mean, obviously Burt Reynolds was in it.
Yeah.
Farrah Fawcett,
Adrian Barbeau.
Jackie Chan was in it. All right. So after halftime, we have the following scores. Scores went up, but the difference didn't. 15 to ADL is up to 215. And one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck's at 240. Now on to the second half.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Benchwarmers TP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Today's third quarter will be The Missing Link.
The Missing Link. This quarter will consist of 5 questions with theme-linked answers. The teams will attempt to answer the questions and guess the theme. Each question is worth 20 points. If a team checks in first via chat to the host with the correct theme before the 5th question, they will earn 100 points. The other team can still earn 50 points with the correct theme guess. If neither team has checked in with the correct theme before the 5th question, each team can earn 50 points with the correct answer to the theme after the 5th question.
This one's gonna be like milk ingredients.
Riboflavin.
Joe Riboflavin, the offensive lineman.
Spoiler alert.
Sounds like a lunge.
It's not milk ingredients.
Right.
So question 1. While Michael Jordan was playing baseball, what backup point guard won back-to-back NBA championships in his first 2 seasons, averaging more than 22 minutes and 11 points in those finals?
We're gonna check in.
Okay, one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in. 15-day DL, you guys can talk it out.
So obviously it's the Rockets.
Yeah.
And then we were just trying to figure out who the starting point guard was. I think McKenny Smith was on the team and he's definitely a point guard, but I think the starter was Sam Cassell.
Go ahead. Sam Cassell was not the starter. Sam Cassell was the backup, and that's what he's asking for.
Oh, wait a minute. Where does it say that? Hold on. Oh, backup point guard.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would make more sense. He's more likely to be a scorer than Kenny Smith anyway. So we should check in with Sam Cassell.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll check in with Sam Cassell.
Okay, and one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What did you guys have?
Yeah, Sam Cassell.
Both teams will be getting their points.
Did he play with Charlie Ward, Florida State? Aren't they in the same backcourt?
Yeah. Yep. He went to Florida State, and it was, 93 draft. So, yeah.
Okay, so like I said, both teams will be getting their points because the correct answer is Sam Cassell, and Cassell is currently an assistant coach for the 76ers. Kenny Smith was the starter that for both of those teams, and there was another backup as well for that team for point guard, and that was
Scott Brooks.
Correct. All right, question 2 in the missing link. What NFL player is tied with Josh Cribbs and Leon Washington for the most career kickoff return touchdowns with 8?
Yeah, we'll check in.
Okay, one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in, so 15-day DL, you guys can talk it out.
I just figured out who it was. I don't hate him, but I hate him. It's Cordero Patterson.
Oh, that makes sense. Yep.
Why couldn't he have been what he is now when he was with Purple is what I want to know. But
because they didn't play him as a running back.
He doesn't know how to run a route. That's
right. Because he's a running back, not a wide receiver. Anyway, that's what you're checking in with?
Yeah, it's Cordero Patterson.
And 15-day DL?
Yeah, we checked in with Cordero Patterson.
Both teams getting their points. The correct answer is Cordero Patterson. In 2013, Patterson became the first NFL player to have a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown, a 75-yard touchdown catch, and a 50-yard rushing touchdown in the same season. The theme-linked answers thus far are Sam Cassell and Cordero Patterson. Moving on to question 3. What Hall of Fame power forward's low post moves were referred to as, quote, the torture chamber?
Checking in.
Okay, one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in. 15-day DL, you guys can talk it out.
I'm pretty sure it's Kevin McHale.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is as well. Yep, it is.
One of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What do you guys have for an answer?
Kevin McHale. And Celtics.
Both teams will be getting their points. Correct answer is Kevin McHale. McHale guest starred as himself in 2 episodes of the TV series Cheers. The theme-linked answers thus far are Sam Cassell, Cordero Patterson, and Kevin McHale. Moving on to question 4. What beloved Hall of Fame slugger is one of 4 players in Major League Baseball history with 500 or more home runs and 600 or more doubles, and is one of only 3 players with 85 extra base hits or more in 4 consecutive years?
Okay, David, that's a David question, so you really should be able to get this.
Yeah, I will, so don't worry. I love your answers. I just like mine slightly more.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not married to him.
I think all 3 are very, very respectable guesses because I think all 3 are in the 500. I think all 3 could be in the 600 doubles. And then it's just a question of this stupid extra base hits thing. This is me complaining about a question that I would have been proud to have written.
Thank you, David.
We're going to check in.
Okay. One of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in. So 15-day DL, you guys can talk it out.
So we have 3 names and we can't really figure out which one because we think that Pujols, Cabrera, and David Ortiz would all be in the beloved category or all in the 500 home run category. We think all are in the 600 double category. And then it just comes down to this 4 consecutive years with 85 extra base hits. Dan wants to go Pujols or Cabrera, and I was pushing for Big Papi because our guest is a Bostonian.
Yeah.
That's sort of where we are. I still feel like it's Ortiz, but please don't hate me if I'm wrong.
We can go Ortiz. That's fine.
All right. We will check in with Big Papi, David Ortiz.
Okay. And one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What did you guys have for an answer?
Ortiz.
Both teams will be receiving their points.
Whoa.
The correct answer is David Ortiz. By the way, the other 2 names, David and Dan, that you had will be, but are not currently Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers. My gosh.
Sorry, we got all the clues but that one. Oops. And you're right. They both will be. Yes.
So,
okay.
The other
Oh,
500, 600 players has one Hall of Famer and two non. That's Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, and Albert Pujols. And the other 85-4 players are Lou Gehrig, Hall of Famer, and Sammy Sosa. So the theme-linked answers thus far are Sam Cassell, Cordero Patterson, Kevin McHale, and David Ortiz. Question 5. What NBA all-timer was named South Carolina Mr. Basketball in 1994, Illinois Mr. Basketball, and Mr. Basketball USA in 1995?
All right, we're going to check in.
Okay, one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in for question number 5. 15-day DL, you guys can talk out. Question number 5.
Okay, well, it's Kevin Garnett.
Yep. Check that in.
Okay, and one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What did you guys have for question number 5?
Yeah, we went with Kevin Garnett.
Both teams will be receiving points. Correct answer is Kevin Garnett. And for those of you living under a rock, Garnett made his feature film debut playing a fictionalized version of himself in the 2019 film Uncut Gems. So the theme-linked answers are Sam Cassell, Cordero Patterson, Kevin McHale, David Ortiz, and Kevin Garnett. All right, so 15-day DL is checked in with their theme. So one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. You guys can talk it out.
We can talk out freely now. So
Yeah, you guys can talk out freely.
Yeah.
It's not played or coached in Minnesota. It's something to do with Minnesota.
So there's more specific than anything to do with Minnesota.
Yeah, I got the David Ortiz, obviously on the Minnesota.
Yeah.
That like nailed it. And then I was just thinking of a number, like they all wore a common number. But,
Patterson's in the 80s. I thought maybe they were all Minnesota at the same time, but that doesn't work with Ortiz.
But do they all, at some point in their career, all wear?
Sam Cassell only wore.
No.
I like you, Paul. So I'm going to just tell you that Cassell and Garnett played on the same team in Minnesota, so they would not have.
Yeah, I hate these stupid links.
All rookie of the year from Minnesota, the Minnesota team. No, because
and Ortiz wasn't, and Cordero Patterson didn't even sniff rookie of the year.
Oh, right.
And
Ortiz was not.
They're not born in Minnesota. They're not.
One of them was.
Well, yeah. They didn't. I mean, McHale went to college in Minnesota. These things always kill me, and when I hear it, I'm going to be mad. So.
Yes, you will if you don't get it.
They lead the league in something.
See, you would think that, but at the same time, like David Ortiz did he do much in Minnesota?
No, he hit some home runs.
Yeah,
but he wasn't David Ortiz.
Yeah,
he was David Ortiz. He wasn't Big Papi though.
Correct. He was only David Ortiz.
Cordero Patterson hasn't won a championship, has he?
Oh, do they all play for both Minnesota and New England and Boston-ish teams?
Cassell did, right?
Ortiz,
McHale, Sam Cassell,
and then Patterson.
Cassell did, Patterson did,
McHale, and Garnett.
What are all our answers so far? We have Garnett, yes. And then we have
McHale, Patterson, Cassell.
There it is. All spent time in Minnesota and Boston.
I needed to be a little
more
specific. No! That was the first answer that was given by the other team. There's something more specific than playing in Minnesota and Boston.
In the same year. They were all in Minnesota and all in Boston.
Championships in Boston, but not Minnesota?
Oh, wait. Cassell on the... He wouldn't have.
No, he didn't win one in Boston.
And was it 08?
Yeah, he was only there for like a hot minute. I don't understand. How can you be more specific?
I'd go with that's the
Cassell. There's no way Cassell won a championship.
They all played them both, and
they all won a championship in Boston.
That's the best
All right. They all played in Minnesota, but won a championship in Boston.
Thank you for checking that in.
All right.
15-day DL. What did you guys have for a theme answer?
Yeah, that's what we have too.
Wow.
Cassell
Both
did win.
teams-
Cassell won the championship in Boston in 2008.
with Garnett.
All right.
So
Oh, my
both
God.
teams will be receiving 50 points for the theme. They are all former Minnesota athletes who won championships in Boston. Sam Cassell was on the 2008 Boston Celtics. Cordero Patterson won Super Bowl 53 with the Patriots. Kevin McHale won with the Celtics in 81, 84, and 86. Ortiz won with the Red Sox in 04, 07, and 13. And Kevin Garnett won in 2008 as well. So, yes,
Thanks for the
they
extra
all
time. I
won championships in Boston.
Cassell was tough. Cassell was tough.
That was brutal.
That's why he was the first clue to be not as obvious as the rest. And that's why Cordero was the second. So, yes, technically you guys were correct when it was all Minnesota. Well, yes, they all played in Minnesota. Oh, they also did play in Boston. Yes, they did that too. But most specifically, like happens with a lot of Minnesota people, they go to Boston and win a championship. Sorry, Dan, this probably doesn't make you feel good. It didn't make me feel great to write it, but points all around.
Paul, I think you played with somebody who grew up around the corner from me. He was in Cleveland the same time you were. Dave Woolaba.
I know Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, he literally, lived across the street from my best friend growing up.
No way.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in a few, but I've kept in touch with him.
He went to my
All
high
right.
school. He grew up in Hamburg. Like, yeah, he was, yeah.
After the third quarter, we had the following scores. 15-day DL with 365, and one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck with 390. So that brings us to the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
The categories for today are as follows. Question 1, Boston College. Question 2, Eagles. Question 3, Cleveland. Question 4, Browns. So question one is in reference to college football. Question 2, Eagles, is in reference to the PGA. Question 3, Cleveland, is in reference to the NBA. And question 4, Browns, is in reference to Hall of Fame players. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers. Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. Question 1, in the category of Boston College. What Boston College quarterback, who is second in career passing yards, is the all-time leader in career touchdown passes for the Eagles?
Yes. That's the type of name I need to see.
Really?
Yes. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. We're going to check in.
Okay. One of us played with Tim Hasselbeck, has checked in, so 15-day DL, you guys can talk it out.
We've thrown around 3 names, Doug Flutie, Matt Ryan, and Glenn Foley. And it feels like in our conversation, we're leaning towards Glenn Foley only because he's sort of not the big name of the 3.
And because Eric said that's the kind of name I needed to see.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Well,
Joke's on you. He sent me Brian St. Pierre.
I want to go with Glenn Foley, right?
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. We're going to check in with Glenn Foley.
for 100.
Okay, and one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What did you guys have for an answer?
We went with New York Jets legend, Glenn Foley.
Both teams will be getting their points.
Ooh.
Correct answer is Glenn Foley. Foley threw 72 touchdowns, 5 more than Doug Flutie and 16 more than Matt Ryan. Foley threw for 10,039 yards, 540 less than Flutie. And Matt Ryan is the single season record holder for passing yards and touchdowns.
Good job, Paul. You gave me that. I probably would have sat here for an hour before I came up with Glenn Foley, but once you sent that to me, it made sense.
So both teams got an extra 100 points. We don't need to talk about the score because the difference is still the same. Moving on to question 2 in the category of Eagles. It is no surprise that Jack Nicklaus has the most career Eagles at Masters tournaments, given he has won more Masters championships than any other golfer. But what one-time Masters champion from 1976 is second in career Eagles at Masters tournaments? This Hall of Fame golfer also won 2 PGA championships in 1969 and 1982, as well as 1 U.S. Open in 1986.
All right. That's the kind of name I needed to hear.
Okay, we'll check in.
All right, 15-day DL is checked in. So one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. You guys can talk it out.
Super old golfer. Cool. 76. Where's Mason?
Haven't you looked at this list?
I have.
On 2 PGA.
Jason's like 23 years old, but he's the oldest guy on the team.
He
The
has
oldest guy
the
on the
oldest
podcast.
soul.
I don't know.
Tom Watson is old. Fuzzy Zeller is old. Sevi.
I think he's fuzzy too.
Deros is old.
Who's the first? What was the first name?
The first one I threw out. I don't even remember. There's been so many. I don't think it. Like I said, it's not like what Dan said. It's not the name I need to see here. I know I've looked at this list repeatedly. I need noise. I need Scott to sing.
Yeah, Scott needs to sing to you right now.
So I'm not going to sing, but Paul is a teammate of his. If you wanted to start just singing a random song, it does help him sometimes.
Start singing some Backstreet
76
Boys.
trombones led the big parade.
Apparently that might not be the song that's going to do it.
So Tom Watson, I know was the year I was born. That's what I know. So if I can reverse back from that.
He was born in the year of Tom Watson.
I was.
The golf horoscope. I was born in Ben Crenshaw.
Oh my God. He beat Ben Crenshaw. I can see it right next to it now.
Are you serious?
In 76. Gary players before him or after him. Raymond Floyd. Got it. Checking in with Raymond Floyd for 100 points.
And 15-day DL. What did you guys have for an answer? And what was your wager?
So yeah, I've seen this list a lot. And I remembered that 76 was Raymond Floyd. And when Eric Eade was asking for someone to sing to him, I was just saying to Dan, instead of singing 76 trombones, he should be singing Wish You Were Here or Comfortably Numb or some other Floyd song. But anyway, yes, Raymond Floyd. And I can't even remember how much we wagered.
65. Dan, it looks like you unknowingly gave the little bit of tweak that Eric Eade needed.
He beat him, right? Ben Crenshaw, like 76. He was runner up.
Both. You
have that?
Hold on. Let me take a look.
Of course he did, because I said Ben Crenshaw.
Because I said Ben Crenshaw.
That's the name he needed to hear, apparently.
That it was.
Apparently it was.
That's the name I needed to see.
Ben Crenshaw was second.
Thank you.
Final.
All right. Oh, geez. You just.
By the way, he beat Ben Crenshaw
17 strokes.
by 8 shots.
Wow.
He was 17 under.
Barn burner.
So it wasn't close, but Dan, that one's all on you.
I was born in the year
Thanks,
of Ben
Dan.
Crenshaw.
I was born.
I don't know who I was. Who was I born in the year of? I got to go back to 7.
Oh, we're just making this stuff up. Come on.
No, I don't think Eade was. I think he's.
I know he
was.
wasn't.
He was
But
born.
if Ben Crenshaw won in 1973, I'm going to be.
Mine isn't a big surprise, and you wouldn't be able to lock in on the year. I was born in the year of Jack Nicklaus.
Well, right. I mean, Ben Crenshaw actually became a pro in the year that I was born. So
what year were you born?
73.
73.
I'm sure Jack Nicklaus won
The Masters.
Masters.
It's Tommy Aaron. You were
go.
born in the year of Tommy Aaron.
No, it's Ben Crenshaw.
Ben Crenshaw claimed it that year. So
So yeah, But now
it's his.
So if you ever have to figure that out, Dan, it's Tommy Aaron. The only major he ever won.
In my mind, it's Ben Crenshaw, so it doesn't matter.
Sorry, that doesn't compute. Okay. Anyway, people, after the second question, the lead has grown by 35. 15-day DL is at 530, and one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck is at 590. Moving on to question 3 in the category of Cleveland. LeBron James holds the Cavaliers franchise records in all major categories but one. Who holds the record for most career blocks for the Cavaliers?
Checked in.
Okay, one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck has checked in. 15-day DL, you guys can talk it out.
So you're saying it's not Larry Nance?
No, that's Jim Nance. You're getting it confused with. I threw out Larry Nance. We threw out Hot Rod Williams, and we threw out the one that I think we're both leaning towards, Zukauskas. But I think it's
Zukauskas.
Just based on longevity and size, yeah. I would say that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're going to check in with Zukauskas for 100 points.
Okay. And one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. What did you guys have for an answer and a wager?
We had Zydrunas Ilgauskas
for 100 points.
Well, let's talk about the top 4. 4th place is LeBron with 695 blocks. The top 3 are all over 1,000. In 3rd place is Larry Nance.
Jim Nance?
With 1,087. In 2nd place is Hot Rod Williams with 1,200. And the correct answer that both teams provided, so they'll be getting their points, is Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Ilgauskas had 1,269 blocks with the Cavs. So once again, both teams go up by 100. That newly changed difference didn't change here. So let's move on to question 4 in the category of Browns. There are 2 offensive tackles whose last names are Brown in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. One played for the Giants, and the other played for the Eagles, Rams, and Raiders. Give the first name of either player.
We're going to check in, Josh.
Okay, 15-day DL is checked in, so one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck. You guys can talk it out. Let me know your answer and your wager.
There's a Bills. I'm trying to think of, like, there's Reuben Brown. He's not Hall of Fame, right? Can't be.
Reuben Brown's a great guess.
I don't think he's a
great player, though. Yeah,
he was. I don't think he's Hall of Fame, though, right? I think I would have heard it if he was, because he played in Buffalo for, this first part of his career. And if he makes the Hall of Fame, it's kind of, they throw like a parade for everybody here. I don't think he's made it, and he probably should, to be honest. But the first name I threw at you was Roosevelt Brown, and he was, I think, like I said, I think he was a Giant, and I want to say it was like the 60s maybe. But that's like all the other ones. Like I said, I threw Lomas out there. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I like the Roosevelt Brown.
All right. Let's roll Roosevelt. We're gonna check in with Roosevelt Brown for 90 points.
Okay, and 15-day DL. What do you guys have for an answer and a wager?
So the only thing I had to go on this one was in collecting old players at some point in sports cards, I believe I have a rookie Roosevelt Brown from, I want to say it's like 56 or 57. So we checked in also with Roosevelt Brown for 100 points.
Well, Bob Brown played for the Eagles, Rams, and Raiders from 1964 to 1973, and better known as Rosie Brown, Mr. Roosevelt Brown, played for the Giants from 1953 to 1965. So both teams will be getting their points. Well done. And just to let you know, neither Rosie or Bob played at Boston College. Rosie played at Morgan State, and Bob played at Nebraska. I just looked those up now because I was like, am I going to have some weird coincidence? No. All right, the game has come to an end, and here are the final scores. You'll see why it's very appropriate for this game to end the way it did. 15-day DL finishes with 730 points. And our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted Tim Hasselbeck Award with 780 points, is one of us played with Tim Hasselbeck.
Wait, Josh, was that an audible or did you have that cooked?
No, that is who I chose
for
for this clipboard captain.
That's
it is
awesome.
Not because I was like, I thought I had him as an answer. And then as I kept going, it's like, oh no, he's not an answer. He's our clipboard captain. So that's awesome and amazing. And I'm glad it worked out that way. Anything you guys would like to say before we call it a night?
Thank you, Paul. I'll just, you're great to have on. I appreciate you coming on, taking the time. This did run a little long, but I had a lot of fun teaming up with you. And actually, I want to give you now a chance just to hit us with anything you want to plug, anything that you want to throw out there. Just you got the floor. Take it and run.
Yeah, no, thanks, Eric. I loved being on. I had a blast. Eric, you are a legend now in my mind for doing this. Is amazing. I just have a general theme, and you'd like get the you'd nail it every time. Yeah, check us out. We're my company. We are on 32 college websites, and what we do is we automate highlights. We integrate them around rosters. And a lot of the social media that you see, all the highlights that you see are being created by our company and being distributed. But you can see our WePlayed logo, GeorgiaDogs.com. We're on a lot of Alabama roster page, all the Alabama football players roster pages. BC Women's Lacrosse. We cover lots of sports. We cover football, women's volleyball, men's women's soccer, men's women's hockey, men's women's basketball, baseball, softball, men's women's lacrosse. So covering a lot of athletes. So if you go to a lot of the ACC schools, SEC schools, a lot of Ivy League schools, go to their roster pages, you'll see a lot of video highlights of those players that are created by WePlayed Sports, my company. So check us out and check out the video. Helps us out. There'll be a lot more to come in the coming years too. And what we do, we're trying to index really the history of sports. So you can just think of a theme name and find all the moments or find a particular moment by us creating it. So a lot of fun. I feel like it's 11:42. I'm not doing a good job plugging it right now. So as I'm talking, I'm like, I don't sound as great as I usually do, but this is a lot of fun. I really appreciate David for inviting me on. And I love the Ilgauskas really was the cherry on top, a Lithuanian name here in the trivia. But thank you.
We'll definitely link to the to the company on our on the show notes that we put out. So.
Oh, great! Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you, Paul, for coming on. This was of a lot of fun tonight. This one was, I mean, just as far as our regular shows go, this one was a blast, and you were all part of it. So thank you so much for coming on. We sincerely appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Dan.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah, Dan's right. Most of the time we have to edit them to make it sound like we're having fun because we're normally yelling at each other and all that. No, this was great. Thanks for accepting our invitation, Paul, and for coming on and sort of weaving in your stories as we went through the trivia. I think is a really nice touch. I think it really made for a nice game tonight. It was good. And Josh, as always, great game. Thank you for writing. It was fun.
I appreciate that. Like I said, I wanted to make sure I had enough BC and Cleveland stuff in there, but because I like our new guests, especially somebody who, like, we've never had a former professional athlete on our show before. You're the first, and this was an amazing show. And that's why when you would start going about stories, I just let it go, because that's the cool thing is we don't normally get to hear cool things like that. And it's WePlayed, right? With the D on the end.
Yeah.
WePlayed.com.
That's right. WePlayed Sports. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that just seems like a really cool endeavor that you have going on too. So former pro athlete, a Hall of Famer. I mean, what else could we ask for? So thank you for joining us tonight. And yeah, I hope you had as much fun as we did. So
I did. And Josh, yeah, thank you. The questions were incredible. They're really insightful, really certainly challenging, but I appreciate all the themes geared towards me. At least that gave me a shot on some of these, so I appreciate it.
We want our guests, especially a first-time guest, to feel comfortable and have some stuff that they have a good shot at knowing. So we try to cater for that reason, because we know a bunch of things, and we know more than most people should know about sports trivia. We really do. But so we try to make it fun and accessible for our guests. So
I don't know if Dave told you, but when he first mentioned your name, and I'm just like, as soon as he said your name, I'm like, he went to BC. I'm like, as soon as he said it, I'm just like, I know exactly who this is. So I was super excited when he said you were interested in coming on. I'm like, yes, please. And I have to be here. So it was a pleasure on my end. Definitely.
Fantastic. Thanks, Eric.
All right. So with that, thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.